Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome back to another Ancient Empires mod faction overview. Today we are looking at the Odryssian Kingdom. This is of course the Kingdom of Thrace essentially, over there in Thracia. Well, that would be what, east of Macedon and west of Turkey. So today we'll go through their faction units that are presented in this mod, and then of course we'll do a battle as customary. So let's hop right on into it. We have two sets of generals. We have some Thracian Royal Infantry, which have excellent morale, have missile weapons, and a good armor rating. I want to jump down here to their traits real quick too. These guys are going to be pretty stinking good. They have charge defense versus cavalry. They are immune to fear. They can hide in forest. They inspire their allies. They are disciplined. They have an expert charge defense. So between all those, plus they have a brace spears ability, there we go. And so they're going to be very useful units. However, I want to mention, they have a cap, which means you're going to have 3 of these units in your entire army, and a general counts as one of those units. What I would do instead is go over here to these Thracian Royal Cavalry. They have excellent morale. They have a morale rating of 15, which is very good. They have a good armor rating of 10, and a good charge rating of 9. And as you can see, the only real difference between the two is they actually have a lower defense, which makes sense. They have a slightly lower melee offense, but their charge rating is significantly higher. But the reason why I'd go Thracian Royal Cav over Thracian Royal Infantry is because our Spear Infantry, we can obviously have Royal Infantry because it's one of the general units, but I would not put a general into that line. Now, if you just wanted only 2 Royal Infantry and you were alright with having a Spearman as your general that you might use later in the battle, sure, go ahead, that's fine. But I like my generals to be more mobile, so typically I'll pick a Cav unit and then be able to use 3 Royal Infantry units on that front line would be really handy. I mean, they inspire their allies, that's really helpful. They help make sure their allies don't rout with each other. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to using Thracian Royal Cav on the actual battlefield rather than have a general's unit. Now, moving on to the Spear Infantry, we have Thracian Levy Spearmen. These guys are super cheap, but they are not good at all. I mean, their biggest thing is melee defense, but that is about it. They have a very poor armor rating of 5. The morale is not that great. They have a very poor charge rating, and they don't have a ranged attack, which is not beneficial in this game. A lot of units in the Ancient Empires mod have a ranged attack, which I really enjoy. I really like that mechanic, and I'm glad they're employing it in a lot of units, but it really makes units that don't have it not very enjoyable to use. So I'd caution unless you just had some extra money or you just wanted some throwaway units or anything of that nature. Now again, Thracian Royal Infantry are part of the Spear Infantry, and they are capped out at 3. Moving on down to melee, we have some DI Swordsmen. These guys have a decent, I mean, not really, a morale of 6, which they say is average. I don't consider that too awfully great. They do have a good charge rating, a charge rating of 6, which is great. Now, this is an area of recruitment. I do believe that is the technical term. So this will only be available in a certain area of Thrace, I'm assuming. And they have a good charge rating, a very poor armor rating. It's not that great, but they do have a decent melee offense and defense. So something to consider, and they do have a ranged attack. So something to consider in all of that if you so choose. They are resistant to cold, which means they will tire less quickly in snow battles. Of course, that's really good, especially in the region that they're in. They can hide in scrub and forest. Now, this is a unique trait that I don't know that I've seen before. It's possible, though. I haven't really seen many units that can hide in scrub and forest. And so these guys will be great for ambushes if you just need some low-tier people to tie up some units. They can definitely hide in a lot of good places. Moving on, we have some Thracian Peltasts. These guys are going to be pretty decent. They don't have a great armor rating, but they have pretty decent morale. They have a very good charge rating. Their melee offense and defense is decent, and of course, they do have a missile attack. So, again, they can hide in scrub and forest, so it's a good way to set up some really good ambushes if you have a map or a battle in which there is a lot of that in there. Now, these next 2 units I'm really excited for. The Thracian Shock Infantry. I'm assuming these guys are the Falksmen I don't know exactly what they're holding in there, but I'm really hoping that these guys are the Falksmen, because that was one of my favorite units for the Thracian factions throughout the Total War series. Now these guys are capped at 5 per army, which is actually a pretty decent amount considering their stats. They have a higher ranged offense, so they'll be able to throw further than their other compatriots. They have a pretty decent charge rating. Melee offense is good. Melee defense, not so much. Their armor rating isn't too shabby. What's really a good kicker is the morale. They have a very, very high morale rating. They have a rating of 13, which is excellent. And they scare everyone. Now, I'm not sure if that scare everyone counts for units who are immune to fear. It seems like scaring everyone, but then having a unit that's immune to fear is kind of, you know, a contradiction, but I'm sure that will get cleared up pretty quickly. These guys can only hide in forests, but they do inspire their allies. So these guys, I mean, they're shock infantry. So they are going to be units that you want to charge into the enemy rather than let them just come to you. And plus, if they are Falksmen, seeing those swords is just going to be amazing. And then last but not least for the melee, we have Thracian nobles. These are also capped out at 5 per army. And they also have some pretty similar stats to these guys. They have a very nice ranged offense attack. Their charge rating isn't near as much, but they are just regular old melee units. Their melee offense is slightly higher. The melee defense is very much higher. But they have 1 less morale, which really isn't that bad of a kicker. So if you can afford it in the campaign or in a custom battle, Thracian nobles, Thracian shock infantry mixed in with some royal infantry are going to make a very solid heavy line that's not going to be easily routed in this game. So whereas you're thinking the Odryssian kingdom really isn't going to be a kingdom or a faction worth using simply because they're limited roster, they are going to be able to hold the line and be very offensive at the same time. So don't get them out yet. Let's go with their ranged unit. They're definitely not focused on ranged in this game. Now, that being said, they still aren't too bad. You have your Thracian archers. These guys have good ammo, so they will be there for a long time as long as you can protect them. But they do have a very poor armor rating. They have no charge rating. Their offense and defense is very bad. And their morale is pretty low. A morale rating of 5, meaning a single charge from anything, and they will probably rout pretty stinking quick. We're going to go with Thracian Slingers, pretty much the same exact stats for the most part. Their missile range is humongous, 240 missile range. To give you an idea, the Thracian nobles, or Thracian archers, only have a missile range of 120. So these guys will be able to do quite a bit of bit of damage, I suppose. And then, but again, morale rating of 5, they're going to be a little iffy, just as long as you protect them. They will be okay. And then some Thracian Javelin. I mean, these guys are going to actually have a little bit better morale, considering that they have a very small missile range. They're going to have better morale, because there's a more likely that they will be hit with in melee battle by the enemy. They have a decent charge rating. Their offense and defense isn't too shabby. But again, it just depends on what you want to do with them. They ignore terrain, which is really nice. Speed penalties do not apply to the skirmishers, to the Thracian skirmishers, which is really good. They can hide and scrub. They're resistant to fatigue, so they're not going to tire as quickly, and I'm sure they're going to be able to go faster. And look at this, climb fast. I don't know that I've seen this particular thing, but it looks like this unit can climb walls twice as fast as normal units. That's a really interesting and random trait, but I like it. And then of course they have very good stamina. Alright, we're going to go down to the Cav. The Cav is also where they shine for the Odryssian kingdom. Looks like we have some Thracian heavy horse. These guys have an average armor rating, which an armor rating of 9 really isn't too bad. They do have a really good morale rating of 13. And their charge rating of 8 is pretty decent as well. The ranged offense is very nice. Again, so many of these units in this mod have a ranged effect, and I really, really enjoy it. If it's not historically accurate, it doesn't break that for me at all. I just like being able to throw something at the enemy before you attack. It just gives it that really cool in-depth. Plus, battles just look amazing when everyone's throwing stuff. Their melee defense is significantly higher than their melee offense, and they'll work pretty well. Now, Thracian Royal Cav, and as you can see, this unit is capped at 4. Thracian Royal Cav are capped at 3. This is the general unit, so if you use a general of the Royal Cav, you'll only be able to field 2 more in the battle. Now these guys have a very good morale rating. A morale rating of 15 is amazing. Their charge rating is pretty daggum decent. Their offense and defense are closer together, and they do have a higher armor rating. Now, all things considered, these guys cost 672 each. The melee cav cost 833, so that's a good 160 talents, whatever you want to call it, more. That being said, for me personally, I don't know that I would bump up to Thracian Royal Cav unless I had nothing else to do, because charge rating of +1, I mean, slightly higher melee offense, a little bit better defense, slightly higher armor rating, the morale would be a good justification for it. But if you're running low on money, but you still want to have a lot of cav, I would still go with the Thracian Heavy Horse, simply because they are decently cheaper with slightly less, very slightly less statistics. But that's just me. But if you have a 40 stack and you have enough people for it, go ahead and field both of them by all means. And last but not least, we have some Thracian Light Horse. These guys are just going to be light skirmisher cav. They do have Parthian Shot, which is an awesome thing. They can fire all around themselves and not just in front. They do have the ability to fire while moving, or whilst moving. I just love that, whilst moving. They can hide in scrub and forest, which I think is a decently unique unit for cav to be able to hide in both scrub and forest. Again, a lot of these units, especially the kind that are kind of quick attack units or kind of skirmisher units, having that scrub ability makes for some great ambushes. They are resistant to fatigue, and they have a decently good stamina. Alright guys, well that will be it for the unit overview. I'm going to set up an army, and we're going to fight a battle on land. I'm not going to do a siege battle with these guys, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Alright everybody, welcome to the battle with the Odryssian Kingdom. Today we are playing against the Galatians. I thought it would be a pretty decent, historically accurate-ish faction battle, give or take a little bit. So we are playing 240 stack armies. This is going to be a massive battle. I mean, you're talking, I think, easily over 13,000 people. Yeah, we're looking at 13,200 troops in this battle. So I do expect some frame rate issues, but I do have almost all of the units in this battle that the Odryssian faction has. So I really wanted to show them all off. Plus, just given a huge the ability to really build a full army was just absolutely amazing. So let's get down to the unit compositions, and we will dive right on into it. Now, of course, we have our Thracian Royal Cav. I went with that guy for the general, which works very well. These guys look really, really good. I'm loving the purple that the Odryssian Kingdom has throughout all their stuff. I guess they think they're royalty or something. But anyways, over here in my middle, right here in my center column, I have my 3 units of Thracian Royal Infantry, like I said I would when I was explaining the units. So these guys are going to be pretty awesome looking. They have your typical, not Romans, the Greek sword, but they are a spear unit. Those are just the officers. So they are making a pretty intimidating front line. Plus, if we wanted to, we could just do brace spears, which gives us attack against elephants, not applicable to the Galatians, plus 200% entity mass, a good missile block chance, and plus 5 attack against cav. So that's a pretty sweet little buff. Over here on my right flank, I have my 5 units of shot cav, and I can confirm that these guys are the Falksmen. Look at how gorgeous those things look. I cannot wait to see how much they tear up units in battle, and I really, really hope that they tear up a lot of them. Sitting behind them, we have 4 units of DI swordsmen. I'm actually going to keep these guys in reserve. They're not that great of units, but the Thracian shock infantry are meant to attack, so I am going to attack with them, and then these guys will just be kind of reinforcements from behind there. Now, over here on my left flank, I have 5 units of Thracian nobles. These guys are going to be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm very much excited to see how well they do in battle. And again, 5 of them will definitely be able to hold that line very well. Sitting behind them, we have our 2 units of Thracian Peltasts. These guys are going to be pretty good. They're not going to be too shabby. I do love that they put their spears in the ground. I was always confused at first on why it looked like their spears weren't complete. It's because they stuck them in the ground. That's pretty cool. It's random. It's very random for me to like something like that, but I do. And by the way, look at those swords. It looks like these nobles have just a range. Looks like they have what, the Roman gladius looking thing. They have the Greek. They have some Falx swords. Really odd looking thing. There's a good Falx one. So they will be pretty daggum lethal in battle. Now, let's get into the ranged units, and then I'll get into cav and we'll be done. I have 3 units of Thracian javelin men. These guys are going to be in the front line. They're just going to sit and wait there until the enemy comes at them. I don't know if I'm going to be offensive or not. I still haven't made that decision. Behind these guys in our front line, we have some Thracian slingers. These guys are going to have a pretty large range, so they will be able to hit units from the get-go, maybe provide just a little bit of a morale debuff. And then sitting behind them, we have several units, 4 units of Thracian archers. Again, I'm trying to keep them behind my main line, well defended, because I need them to stay during this battle. I need them to not rout. Let's get down to our cav. Over here on the left flank, I have 4 units of Thracian heavy horse. These guys do look rather intimidating. I like the battered shields. The battered shields look really cool. Really digging those. Behind them, we have our skirmisher cav, our Thracian light horse. Their armor, they're very lightly armored, but they do have some really cool looking tunics and design stuff there, along with those really classic helmets. I really like those. And I guess they made non-metal helmets like that. I've never seen that before. And then we have our Thracian Royal Cav. I just have a couple units of those. These guys are kind of going to be more defensive. I'm really concerned about this flank. And so we'll see if we can hopefully defend against those. So that is it, guys. 13,300 units. Is that right? Yep. 13,300 units in this battle. Let's go ahead and play. Alright, as you can see, they are immediately going to start moving. I'm actually going to move up just a little bit. They won't catch up to me then. I am going to run. Again, running is not the best idea in the world because fatigue really affects you in this game. So we're going to make sure, we are already getting a little bit laggy. I don't know that I want to do this. As long as I don't get in super up close, we are okay. I can get about there, and things start leveling out. We'll get in some close-ups, but we'll do that in slow-mo, so that way we can really capture some good animations, especially when these Thracian shock infantry hit. Alright, everyone's fresh. Could move up just a little bit more. Let's see. I don't really want to go over the Galatians at the moment. We'll just keep them just as a regular old battle. But it does seem like they have quite a few spearmen and swordsmen. Let's get our guys moving. Protect that flank. Probably get our skirmisher cav each on one side to really kind of pester them a little bit. Here we go. Man, they just made a straight up attack, didn't they? Yep, those skirmishers are dead, but I have a feeling the Galatian noble horse are also about to be dead. Alright, so this is where we're going to start getting in our slow-mo. Really want to see these Falksmen do some dirty work. Come on, do something. Do something. All of you. They're already bloodied and massacred, and skirmishers are running through the ranks. Oh, we missed it right there. Don't really see them doing very much. Come on, guys, do something. Here we go. There we go. Kill them. Oh, Lord. Okay, we need to back out. Alright, so as you can see, we've routed those troops. We are getting potentially hit from behind. I'm going to go after those Galatian noble horse again. Get up on that front line. Get those slingers to go over there. There we go. Let's go ahead and get on these Galatian levy freemen. Galatian bonded spearmen. That sounds fun. We are getting engaged on all sides of the battle. Let's go ahead and get back there. It doesn't appear that it appears that we outnumber them in terms of cav. That doesn't necessarily mean very much, but I am going to jump in here. Don't really know why their noble cav are running through our ranks, but I'll take it. I'm going to bring my general up, do a little war cry, give them a morale debuff, and we're going to get back out of there. And then we're going to go ahead and use our reinforcements. I'm going to bring those guys around. I'm going to plug up this hole, and I'm going to move these guys over here. You're going to come over here. We are engaging these noble horse. It's working very well. Go right over there. Keep pursuing them, I would say. Don't put your general into the battle because I will kill him. Here we go. Let's take care of their ranged first. Looks like we routed those other units. Yeah, we're going to focus on killing their own. Let's get our skirmisher cav. Let's kill all their ranged first, and then anyone who's routing, that would be fantastic. There we go. Looks like there's a big, giant, gaping hole, which I'm glad they don't have enough units to do anything about, because that would be awful. Looks like we are handling them quite well. Let's get over here. Yeah, there appears to be a lot of mass routing going on. Get all those guys out of the way. Men are broken and running. Odryssian peltasts. No. Keep running, keep running. We're going to rout all of their ranged units, and then we could probably... Come on, just throw your spears at them, and then we'll be good. Hit those guys over there. It looks like we got 36 seconds before we can do another debuff. Let's get those guys into the mix. Gonna go after those bonded spearmen. And then again, we're gonna go after those open units. Now I should have... Oh no, I guess they routed 2 of my skirmisher cav. Alright, well you know what? It's time to start hitting these guys in the back. We need to secure this flank the most, I feel, because we have this one handled. There we go. Hit those guys like over there. This is a very, very fast battle, by the way. I've never seen an Ancient Empires battle go this quickly. But they are routing. They're going to rout as well, so we have that flank secured. Let's go ahead and pull these guys out. Let's go after these archers. And then we're going to set up for another charge. Actually, we're going to go after these noble horse, these early noble horsemen. Then we're going to drag our infantry over here. We still have a lot of units that can be officially routed. Let's get this spear wall. I'm going to drop these guys here, drop these guys here. We're going to reinforce that right over there. We're going to go after their skirmisher cav. So much is going on so quickly. I haven't even really had time to really focus on the up close marks, so I do apologize for that. What do we got going on over here? Those guys routed? No, they haven't. What do we got fighting them? We got our DI swordsmen. Let's get our Thracian shock cav. What are we doing here? Yeah, let's take a look at our royal infantry and see how they're doing. Oh, there we go. Deflect those attacks. These guys do look really good, though. Get that little jab going in there. Let's see what else we're doing on the front lines. It doesn't look like this guy is doing anything, so let's get surrounding him. Oh, this dude's surrounded. There we go. We're doing work. We're doing really good work. We can do even more if we do this. Go after them. Get work done. There we go. I really want to see this charge here. Oh, this is going to be a deadly one. Oh, my word. Very nice. Their shields are so shiny. Let's hit that filter on just to kind of give it that cinematic look. I haven't dropped that filter on in a very, very long time. And it really does. I mean, it really gives it a good overall. I mean, look at that. It's a little bland here, but that really brings out the greens. Their shields are so shiny. Everything is so shiny. Oh, he died. Captured one of our own men dying. The only thing I don't like is once you hit this, you can't really see troops. You can't see how your troops are set up, but that's okay. We can still manage. We're going to hit those guys. We do have the very clear advantage, I think. It's not giving us an advantage right now, which is really weird. Let's go ahead and turn that off. Let's get back into the battles. You can see it's still saying we only have a not very good advantage. And I'm like, I don't think you realize half of their units have routed. I know I'm still in slow-mo, but oh wow, that dude already has lost his head. Look at that. Oh, that's an epic one. There you go. There you go. Block that. Help your comrades. Those DI swordsmen are actually holding up very well, especially against what? What is this? This is a Galatian noble warband, so that's really not bad at all. Alright, let's get out into the open here. Still need a unit to go over here. We need a unit to go hit those guys. Let's just go ahead and hit into melee mode. Let's hit these Galatian spear walls in the back. Same with those bonded spearmen. There we go. Watch this. This will probably cause a much... Let's go right here. Because I really want to get this whole stack of units. Man, look at these guys. Look at these spear walls holding the line. Are these invisible? Oh, please tell me these guys are invisible. No, they're not. Okay. They're just really holding that thing up very well. Let's get my general unit. We're going to route them for good. Now again, we need to set up because we do always need to think about fatigue. Fatigue is very, very lethal in this game. And it's something we always need to consider even if we are winning, because you can literally lose battles because you didn't rest your troops enough. So it's always good if you have free units to set them up, because you never know when or where you might need them. Now for this, we pretty much have it in the bag, but there we go. Let's go after them. Go after these guys. We're going to rout the rest of these troops. These guys are now full melee. Nope, get back there. These guys are oh, they were holding out until just now. Then we're going to get these DI swordsmen. What are these guys? These are our royal infantry. Our peltasts are also both still here. It looks like we got just one unit of spears, which we're just going to overwhelm with our troops. And we're just going to make them rout. Very nice, guys. Very, very nice. We still need to get this troop routed, so I'm going to... There we go. That's it. That is it. Let's end the battle. Again, that was a very, very, very fast battle. I've never really seen a battle go only 10 minutes long, especially with a 40-40 stack, but that's alright. So let's go ahead and break it all down. So again, these archers didn't do that well. It's the first thing I noticed. None of these guys, I guess this javelin man got 161, but I don't think that was from throwing things. I think that was they ran out of ammo, and then they engaged in melee battle. Now, it's hard to see these guys, but I know they actually did decently well. Looks like 113, yeah, 62, 49, 213, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. These Falksmen actually did fairly well per unit, minus this guy. I kind of expected them to do a little better, but I'm guessing in a different situation they may do better. Our Thracian Royal Infantry did not fail to impress, neither did our Thracian Nobles. These guys did hold the line, and that's one thing that I've learned in ancient empires, is it's not necessarily the kills. Of course, kills matter, but my thing, and especially with morale and fatigue being a bigger deal in the Ancient Empires mod, you're going to want to have units that tie up other units. If you can tie up units, hit them in the back, especially in this game, you're going to get a very nice route every single time. Now, I know a hammered anvil works most of the time with any Total War game, but especially for this one, it's going to be really good. Let's go ahead and swing on down to our cav. Our heavy horse did spectacular. 257, 343, 290. Our royal cav did well. They did 287, 173. Even our light horse, now these guys got routed pretty early on, but these other two units, they were able to engage in melee towards the end, and they did a pretty good job. So, while we are outnumbered by a good 500 troops, we were definitely able to win the day. So I do hope you enjoyed this battle. The Odryssian Kingdom, while initially they don't seem very good, they do have some very, very good melee units and some very, very good cav. So it's something to consider when doing their campaign and or in multiplayer battles. They're not just going to be a faction that you can flake off. Nah, they're not that great, so I'm not going to do anything against them. You definitely want to use them in the future. So, again, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'll be doing more videos in the near future. I hope to release some, at least 3 a week in the near future. Hopefully get a majority of the kingdoms and factions done before the release, which is still set for September 30th. Alright guys, again, hope you enjoyed it. This is Havoc, and I'm out of here. Peace!